Lately, there has been a lot of talk in the Total War community about YouTubers and the powers they have, the access they have, and whether they're telling the truth all the time, and all of that. And I wanted to touch on two topics here today. One topic is about early access. Is it right YouTubers get early access? Should they get early access going forwards? And the second topic that I'll cover in the second half of the video is a little bit more controversial, and I'll get into why when I get to it. So first of all, is early access bad? So this is how I see it. We've got the community over here, and we've got CA over here. The person, the customer, whatever you want to call them, and the company. Then we've got the news articles here, and then we've got the YouTubers over here, who are more similar to the community in their thoughts about the game than the news articles are, and of course than CA is about their own game. So of course a lot of people say never pre-order a game, and I am also in that category. It's not logical to pre-order a Total War game. You don't really gain anything out of it, and any pre-order bonus that might exist, chances are that you can just buy it for £1 or £2 later on down the line. FOMO is a big thing, the fear of missing out, and with Total War, I don't think you're really missing out on anything. Just, you can afford to wait. But that means nothing, because still, thousands and thousands, maybe even touching 1 million people pre-order the game. So whether you do it or not doesn't really impact it too much. People are going to pre-order. So let's say the days before YouTubers, before early access, what happened? Well, CA would tell the community about the game, and they'll send information to the news reporters, who will also feed the community on the game. Which means for the people who are going to either pre-order it or never pre-order it, they're only getting their news from two sources, either the company itself or another company. So now what happens in the days of YouTube is, CA, they still advertise their own game, although hilariously poorly, but they still do. They still send it to the news still do report it, although no one really reads it these days. Like, who reads an article for their opinion on Total War? Like, come on, really? CA also has to send it to YouTubers, and the YouTubers, who have more in common with the community, also get to report it. So although the YouTubers are inspired by the company itself, which does create a bias, they are more similar to the community, so that does sort of balance it out a bit. But we'll talk about balance and fairness and whether YouTubers are telling the truth or not and all of that later. So my point is, when I put out the survey asking if people think YouTubers should get early access, I am in the opinion of yes. I don't get early access, it is something I opted out of for several reasons, but overall, in my opinion, it is better to have YouTubers getting early access and getting info from them than it is directly from the company. Even if the YouTubers do lie, even if they are not truthful, they are still more truthful than the company itself. It all depends on the YouTuber themselves. So let's talk about the YouTuber. What does the YouTuber really want? Do they want early access? Not specifically early access. They don't really get much out of that. What they want is money. How do they get money? Through views. What gets them views? Early access can get them views. How do they get early access? Well, for the most part, although CA would probably deny it, by being positive about the game. So they're positive about the game to get early access, to get more views, to get more publicity and money. It all comes down to the money, which means it all comes down to the views. How they get the views doesn't really matter. That should actually be in red, because that is a bias in favour of the company. So that is the reason to lie. However, negativity sells. People who are more negative are paid as unique. It's actually easier to get views by giving a negative point of view, one that is more in line with the community than with the company. For example, here's a couple of my videos that I'm showing on your screen here. They're the same video, one's positive, one's negative, but every single time the negative one does way better because people like negativity, it's something they want to click on. So my viewpoint comes down to this. Some people can be biased in a positive sense, make more money and help CA. Some people can be biased in a negative sense, make more money at the hindrance of CA. And the way I try to see it is, this is a perfectly balanced system. This is fair. You are never going to have a truly non-biased human being. It's impossible. So it's also the way I approach politics. I think it's better to have someone on the extreme on one side, someone on the extreme of the other side, and to listen to both of them and formulate your opinion there. Oh, I forgot my sunglasses. Oh, I'm always forgetting something. Let me get these in there. Alright. Alright. There we go. But this was the past. I no longer think the same scenario is taking place, because one thing that has actually happened in the last couple of years is Nexus accounts, and chances for Total War YouTubers to say, you can buy the game in the link down in the description below, and you can, and I get a cut of the profits from that. Now this is something I am strongly against, and the reason for that is, suddenly there's an imbalance. Suddenly there's a massive reason here, on this side, for people to be more positive about the game, which aligns them more with the company, because they are going to make more money out of it. And this is why I am very against those types of pre-order or buy the game links. They're not good for the community, they're okay for the YouTuber, and great for the company. It creates an imbalance, and then suddenly you'll have more YouTubers siding on the positive side than the negative side, which means there's more likely to be false narratives and stuff like that. It's awful for the customer, in my opinion. And I'm of the opinion that all YouTubers, at least in the Total War space, should come together and agree that, nah, we should get rid of this. And why should they do that? Well, not just for the ethical, moral reasons, as I've said before. I don't care about ethics or morals. I come from this in a purely business perspective. But because they don't really make much money out of this. If you are making £1,000 a month off the views, you're probably making, the exact figures vary, but maybe £50 or £100 a month from the sales of the game. If you're making £1 million a month, you're probably making a few thousand a month off the sales of the game. But either way, it's a minuscule, almost pointless percentage. I don't believe they're really looking at these numbers compared to the numbers that the views get overall. I think the views make way more money than the sales. Therefore, they could easily, in my opinion, get rid of these pre-order links that they put in the description. Bring back the fair balance that we like to see, that I think the community needs. I have a more moral, ethical standpoint with it all, I guess, although I don't really care about that. And lose only maybe like 1% of their income in the process. Why would anyone do that? Well, I guess the YouTuber's thought is, well, if that guy's doing it, then I might as well profit from it too. Which is why I think all the YouTubers should just come together and come to some joint agreement of saying, you know what, for all of the reasons mentioned here, let's all just get rid of that. It's not going to hurt us too much, and I think that will create a much more balanced and perfect system. And you can tell this system benefits CA because, at least when I was there, they really did incentivise people to set this up. Not force people, but they did, you know, certainly try and push it. They did certainly want this process to exist, and I think that's the reason why it should go. Alright, but linking into that, the slightly controversial point here. I mentioned in a poll that I think YouTubers should form a union together, and after looking at the comments, this guy pointed it out best of all in a very polite manner, and I 100% respect his opinion, and a lot makes sense after reading it. Union was probably the wrong term. I don't mean it in some big organised legal thing. A lot of people got confused. There were comments like, Melkor, why are you trying to take my money? I'm gonna need more information before I put money into this. I wasn't asking for your money. There were a lot of people getting the wrong message, people saying, well, all the legal stuff they'll have to go through. No, there's no need for any legal stuff at all. So let's take the word union out of it. I think that spiked the politics in some people, and it was of course probably not the best word to use. I think there's a better word for it. Okay, so here is the issue. It all starts again with CA and the early access to YouTubers. Overall, the contract is actually okay, but where there's one clause that is not okay, and that is when it comes down to the review system. You cannot review the game until usually like 1 day before launch, sometimes 2 days before launch. You cannot make a review, but it depends how you define review. You could argue in a way that what they're actually saying is, don't give a negative opinion until this exact date. So then how are you meant to cover it without being able to give any real serious opinion? And please hear me out before you comment on this, because it's important to get all the information. So this here is bad for the customer. Very bad for the customer, and also bad for the YouTuber as well. But it is brilliant for the creative assembly. It holds the YouTubers together where they want them, and it pushes sales, and it's brilliant for CA. But it doesn't have to be like this. The creative assembly is more reliant on YouTubers than YouTubers are on the creative assembly. YouTubers did not build their channels off CA. No one at 0 subscribers gets early access. You have to have already made it, or sort of made it. So without any direct help to the YouTuber from CA, they've already made their channel, cover Total War, and get success and views. They're already growing. All CA really does is give them a boost to views when a new game is about to come out. That is a percentage modifier. CA does not make the YouTuber. YouTubers can do just fine without early access. Look at LegendOfTotalWar for example. When he left he had 70k subscribers, when he rejoined he had 300k, 400k. He did not depend on CA and their early access at all. And CA came back to him, wanting him to come back. And we also see it from the damage that he did to France. YouTubers can have the potential to really hit CA, to really hurt them. And I'm taking this as proof that CA needs YouTubers way more than we need them. Because if we lose our early access, you know what's going to happen? We're still going to play the game. We're still going to get good views. We're still going to have a good strong community behind us, because it's proven time after time again. Early access is only a modifier onto the views that we are already going to get. And as shown in the diagram before, early access is something they're trying to make as biased as possible in favour of them. But overall it is something good for the community if it is in a balanced scenario, as shown earlier. So, it doesn't have to be a union. Again, that was probably the wrong word. But there's nothing stopping all the YouTubers coming together and saying, you know what, this here, this is bad. We want to be able to give our opinion from the moment we can. Like, all other game studios, near enough apart from Paradox, let their YouTubers do. And they say to CA, they say to them, you know what, we want this gone, or we're all out. If they say that, in my strong opinion, and people are going to disagree, but I'm going to show some proof and some other people's opinions later, CA, in my strong opinion, will fold and get rid of this rule that is bad for the YouTuber and bad for the customer. But you know what? CA, they still have early access for their YouTubers. They're still getting free marketing. They're still in the win here without the review embargo limitation. CA does not need this. I am now going to show you a conversation between RepublicOfPlay, a former CA employee who worked in marketing, and LegendOfTotalWar, currently the largest Total War YouTuber, still uploading on a regular basis.
I have to deal with it differently, and I think I have to. If you're not getting paid and you can't give your opinion till the review embargo hits, I think I have to do that. Because you're totally right about that. If you're not getting paid and you can't give your opinion, like, you sort of take a hit. And I really felt that with Warhammer 3. Like, not being able to give my opinions early on, I think really hurt my channel going forward. And that's just the embargo they put down. I understand why they did that. You know, in reviews 2 days before release, so that even if you give a negative review, you've still got 2 weeks of, like, me going, oh, I'm having so much fun here, you know?
It's bullshit. It's yeah, people shouldn't take it, because they pay silly money to advertise to get the same amount of views. The amount of money they pay for, like, just to run regular ads, and you're giving them access to a hardcore invested Total War fan. So it's even worth even more to them. You know, they pay millions to just advertise shot in the dark on YouTube, random ads, and you're able to, like, literally direct funnel them towards, like, the hardcore. And I think if you can give your opinion, then it's like, well, it's a bit more worth it for me. At least I can be as honest as I want. So that's fine. But if you're told, like, you're not allowed to say anything, it's like, well, okay, then I won't be releasing anything until I am. That's all I'd just say that. It's like, I won't be releasing anything until I can. Or you can pay me if you want to sponsor me, then I'll make a video right now. That's what I would say, personally.
You're right. I think duty to my viewers, who are my true boss, not Creative Assembly, I've got a duty to them that if I can't be honest, I shouldn't make the content. I think you're right, and I think I need to do that going forward. I think that I'm going to have to let them know that the current embargoes are unacceptable, and that I'm not going to promote it until I can actually be honest about it. I think that's the only way to go forward from now.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You need multiple to do it. You really do.
Yeah, you need multiple people to sort of stand up and say this is not acceptable.
Okay, so first of all, this is why I wanted people to watch the video before they comment. You've got Melkor, me, in favour of this. You've got the biggest YouTuber out there still covering Total War saying this, and a former CA employee also agrees. So if you're going to argue against and say you're wrong, then come at it with a good argument. Don't just say you're wrong, don't just argue something that has already been disproven. If you want to come at it from a disagreeing angle, please do. I respect it when someone can prove me and loads of people wrong in a polite, logical manner that is fully researched and truthful. But it's a warning to you, know the names and the people you're up against. What I'm saying is, your argument has got to be pretty good. But if it is good, good on you. What happens if CA does decline the YouTuber's offer? So then suddenly the YouTubers get kicked out of the system. First of all, a lot of people were saying CA would never accept, they'll just get more YouTubers to cover it. Where from? Where near enough all of us are already in the programme. They're not going to grow on trees. The only way that could be possible is if CA pay other people to become YouTubers and have, like, fake YouTubers who are actually the puppets of CA. Ooh, well, first of all, I think that's incredibly illegal, but even if they just ignored that and got away with it, they still then have to pay these people lots of money to be able to do that, so they've got to pay for it, and the chances are these channels are not going to be that popular at all, because, you know, it doesn't matter how much money and time you give a YouTuber, at the end of the day it comes down to skill, and partly due to the community as well, so these here, they're gonna fail. If CA got rid of all the YouTubers, out of a program, then that's it. All that free marketing is gone. All that early access potential is gone. They'll have to send it to the news reporters, but people don't trust the news reporters. Most people get their news from the YouTubers. And if they are suddenly really negative about the game, then that pushes hate and negativity against CA. Then CA is going to struggle. The YouTubers, on the other hand, when people hear such a brilliant story of the little businesses standing up to the big businesses, then, you know, they're going to be in the light there, they're going to get positivity, their views are going to go down a little bit due to the lack of early access, but here's the thing, does anyone really care? Early access, you know, lasts about a week or two every year. For the most part, you know, of course that loss of an extra week bonus is going to be sad, but they don't need that week bonus. Most of them should be able to continue fine on their own. And the game is still going to release and people will just watch them there instead. The only real danger that I believe does exist here is if the YouTubers are not united, if they disagree, and that's another thing people said. Some people might disagree, some people might try to go back to CA. But why? Now they might try and negotiate some better deal with them, but at the end of the day most of the YouTubers there are near enough friends. They get along, they're good people, they get along with each other, and I don't think anyone really is going to betray it. The few that probably will, they're going to get cut off from the other YouTubers, like why backstabbers like that, and then they're going to get their own way anyway, so these people here, they're not going to gain any real advantage. So really there's no reason to actually leave. All the power is in the hands of the YouTubers, but for some reason they're not making the push yet. And that's hurting the customer, it's kind of hurting themselves too, not being able to review the game properly before launch. And it's certainly one of the reasons why I left. And another reason why union is a bad word to use here, which yeah, it didn't click at the time of making it, but it does now. This is not the workers versus the business. YouTubers are not workers. A lot of people were saying in the comments that they were workers, but yeah, they're not workers. This is big business versus small business. This is businessmen and women versus other businessmen and women. That's all this is. There is no worker or employee involved here. And that's what makes it very, very different. Some people were saying, oh, unions can become corrupt at times. I don't really see what the YouTubers are going to do to become corrupt. Like, there's very little gain they can make beyond changing their own embargo. I don't think that would happen. Another advantage they'll have is they'll be able to protect each other as well, which I think they should do more if one person is about to get wrongfully kicked out, which again should shield the YouTubers. The final argument I want to make is from people saying YouTubers should be grateful for their position. I strongly disagree. Again, this is businessmen talking with other businessmen that's going on here. These are business deals. Let's say, you know, you're here and you are selling your house. That is such a weird house. I am awful at drawing. Actually, no, I'm a brilliant artist. It's modern art. Okay, so let's say you are selling a house here, and let's say someone offers you 100,000 for the house. Now, should you be just grateful and accept the deal? I don't think so. I don't think you should be grateful at all for anyone wanting to buy something. At the end of the day, they're getting something out of it, you're getting something out of it. This is a two-way system. Early access is not a present. If it was a present, then, you know, maybe they should be grateful. But no, it's a two-way system, and both parties gain out of it. What I'm saying is, like the sale of a house, what I'm saying is, there is nothing wrong with this person here then actually saying, no, you're not having it for 100k. I think it's worth 120k. There is nothing wrong with you boosting your own position, giving more value to what you have, and that's all I'm saying the YouTubers should do here. I am saying they are more powerful and worth much more than they are selling themselves for. And in my opinion, they should realise this, they should work together and push for something that is better for them and better for the customer, and CA, it'll be a loss, but they're still winning, they're still making millions, they are still in the green, and trust me, they need us way more than we need them. It's been proven in the past before, and I think this is, you know, perfectly fine. People should never just see a contract and accept it just because, you know, it sounds like a good offer. CA is meant to push onto YouTubers. YouTubers are meant to push back. We are meant to be locking horns here. We are meant to be constantly pushing at each other, because only then can, in my opinion, true progress and innovation be achieved. And likewise with the customer too. They should be pushing on the YouTuber saying, we want more of this, we want more honest opinions, we want you more correct, blah blah blah. The YouTubers should push onto their community, their own thoughts. Also through sharing their reviews and opinions, this should also exist. And likewise, they should push onto CA as well, and CA should push onto the community, explaining their own opinion. This, in my opinion, is the natural order of things, how it should work. Look at it, balanced perfectly. But when you have things like pre-order links down below in the description where you can buy the game and I get a cut, you weaken the position the YouTubers have with the community. And when you also accept the bad contract, you give CA the advantage here. And lastly, I'm not going to get too much into this, but another trick CA does is don't be negative to us, we're trying our best. A lot of companies do this approach, and although it is to some extent true, you know, you shouldn't blame the developer. A lot of people then within the community start criticising each other and saying we should support CA in all of this and all of that. But overall, sometimes I think it can get a bit too far, and companies and even developers should be called out if the work is not good enough, because then only progress and innovation can be made. But the issue is right now there's a bit of a, especially in the Total War community, a bit of an infighting mentality between people. Some people are CA can do no wrong, some people are much more logical, and some people are overly aggressive. Either way, there's a lot of infighting, it hurts the community, and ultimately we end up in a place where, as we can see here, the Creative Assembly end up with all the power. I have been Melkor. Subscribe to get notified of more, share with anyone you think may be interested, but for now, until the next one, Mel gone.